Hey Cambridge, this is City Councillor Nadeem Mazen coming to you with an exciting update from the March 30th City Council meeting where finally, after years and years, the plastic bag ban ordinance, now the bring your own bag ordinance, passed 8-1. I'm so happy and proud to be part of this process. We as Americans use almost one per person per year. That means 100 billion bags in the US annually, and that means that Cambridge's share is something like 32 million bags. There's a lot of times when just bringing your own bag would work, and if we had a culture of bringing a bag, I think it would work great for everyone, and we'd save money, and we'd be saving the environment. So bags that are lighter than 3 mils, the thinnest bags that you get at grocery markets, and float away into trees, into rivers, and into our ecosystems, will be no longer allowed. And 3 mils and up are seen as plastic bags that are actually reusable bags. I think we'll see a lot more canvas bags, and then paper bags will see a small surcharge because those have a huge environmental impact as well, and we want to disincentivize paper bags when people could just be bringing their own bags. That's super exciting. There was a last-minute bid to try to reduce the thickness of bags from 3 to 2.25. The Sierra Club said, hey, at 2.25, you're still ending up in our ecosystem, not biodegrading for ages. With that on the record, with that research, I think it was very easy for the council to quash that late-breaking amendment and to go with the full ordinance. Seeing that come to fruition was an incredible win for the council, and we're now the largest city on the East Coast with such a ban. Our thanks to former Councillor Marjorie Decker, now State Rep Decker, and former Mayor Henrietta Davis, who were instrumental in getting this going, and to all of my colleagues who have been shepherding it along. We also talked about Pearl Street, which came off the calendar. There had been a discussion where the Pearl Street neighborhood was split, about 50-50. Do we reconstruct Pearl Street as is, or do we remove a lot of parking for better bus and bicycle infrastructure? The resulting conversation, I think, led to the city adopting a bias that keeps parking in place. I think a lot of residents are very relieved to hear that. A lot of residents also want to see improved bike infrastructure. What happened last night was about the conversation to come. How can we talk about the bike network in general in such a way that there is improved bike infrastructure, but without taking away parking? How can we continue the conversation for a win-win? I think that is much needed, and there was an item coming off the calendar to be voted on that would have actually squashed that conversation intentionally. Eventually we got through. We did end up voting against that order as a council, but it was very close. It was a lengthy conversation. And I believe that now we refer that order to committee so that we can both have the conversation on the win-win situations we need, and so that we can investigate ways that we can add bike infrastructure without being a detriment to parking. The Foundry building came up in a report from the city manager because the planning board has recommended a disposition of the Foundry building, which is meant for community uses. Basically the CRA and their developer, whoever kind of wins a bid to take it over, they'll have that building, and they will have that process firmly in hand, away from much of the council's oversight, as soon as we vote for that disposition and what's called diminution of process, which means an even shorter disposition. This is a community building which must guarantee a preponderance of community uses, and if you need for-profit uses to make it financially workable, fine. For-profit uses can be a huge benefit to the financial bottom line of that building, to activating and programming that space, great. 10% for-profit, 20%, but when you start getting close to 30, 40, 50%, that's, I think, very scary for people who are depending on that building for workforce development, community engagement, arts and culture, exhibition space, things the community has been so open and so collaborative about wanting to see integrated together. Not integrated competitively. There's going to be a lot of shared space, a lot of modular space, hopefully a lot of performance, art workshop space, and as Vice Mayor Benson, Councillor Carlone, almost everyone on the council, and I have been driving, there's going to be a lot of hands-on learning and science, technology, engineering, art, math space. Lastly, we moved a committee report where we investigated future technologies for real estate development and urban planning That was a committee meeting led largely by research groups from MIT and a few hackathon participants who had dreamed up solutions for the city on their own free time. The motions in that meeting by myself and by Vice Mayor Mazen were really advancing an opportunity for us to engage with universities more deliberately, more often, and to engage with our residents through these emerging technologies, some of which are offline and in person through a hands-on kind of experience, and some of them are online. And all of them are wonderful. So I do hope that those instructions to the city manager bear some fruit and that we begin doing this a little bit more deliberately and a little bit more consistently. That's my update for the Monday, March 30th City Council meeting. Thank you for listening. Please do share with your friends and give us feedback about what you're involved in and what you'd like to hear from future updates. Thanks.